Cabinet to consider motorcycle ride-hailing service Gojek. Mechanism for petrol subsidy to be announced in 2 weeks. You're watching the evening edition of News on 2. I'm Adrian Seat. A study on a motorcycle ride-hailing service, or Gojek, will be made after Youth and Sports Minister Syed Saddiq Syed Abdul Rahman's proposal is given approval by the Cabinet. Transport Minister Anthony Loke Siew Fook said, although the proposal to the Cabinet would be made by Syed Saddiq, the ministry would be the one to conduct the study and work out the mechanism and framework on how to get the motorbike ride-hailing service operational. Loke said more studies and research will need to be done on this matter. He added that the proposal will also be brought to the Cabinet to get their views before a decision is made.
Kita mendengar pembentangan mereka dan satu pembentangan yang saya kira menarik, tetapi kita kena mengkaji lebih lanjut dan membincang dengan lebih lanjut mekanisme pelaksanaan. Walaupun secara prinsipnya saya tidak menolak, sebenarnya saya pernah mengatakan bahawa Kementerian Pengangkutan belum bersedia memperkenalkan hailing ataupun e-hailing untuk motosikal. Tetapi kita sebuah kerajaan yang dinamik.
Loke was commenting after Syed Saddiq said allowing a Gojek to operate in Malaysia would help create more jobs. He said this after launching the 4-car trains for the KL monorail in Kuala Lumpur today. Four-car trains are finally in service for the KL monorail after a 2-year suspension. The rail company added 3 sets of refurbished 4-car trains to its services today, which coincides with the 16th anniversary of KL monorail. Previously, the monorail system operated by using 5 units of 2-car trains with a waiting time of 10 minutes. The 4-car trains are also fitted with better safety features including open-door window, onboard closed-circuit TV cameras and run-flat features which allow the trains to continue moving despite a puncture. Waiting time for the monorail has been reduced to 6.5 minutes during peak hours. The 4-car trains can accommodate up to 500 people. Prasarana and Skomi Transit Project Sundaram Berhad Group are scheduled to add another 2 sets of 4-car trains by November, which is expected to cost 122 million ringgit. Prasarana Malaysia Berhad is fully owned by the Ministry of Finance, while Skomi is a global service provider in the oil and gas and transport solutions industries. The targeted petrol subsidy plan for RON 95 will be announced in 2 weeks. Domestic Trade and Consumer Affairs Minister Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution Ismail said all would be revealed in a press conference pending Cabinet approval.
Saya punya estimate sebab sekarang dah di penghujungnya, cuma nak memperhalusi beberapa perkara saja lagi, dan kalau semuanya berjalan mengikut jadual, pengumumannya tu apa-apa pengumuman tentangnya ya akan saya cuba buat dalam masa 2 minggu terdekat ni lah. Ya, itu pun tertakluk kepada apa-apa keputusan ataupun nasihat daripada Jemaah Menteri lah.
Datuk Sri Saifuddin Nasution said this in a press conference held after his ministry's monthly assembly in Putrajaya today. The targeted RON 95 petrol subsidy is a measure outlined under the 2019 budget tabled by Finance Minister Lim Guan Eng, aimed at reducing the cost of living for the B40 group, defined as households earning less than 3,860 ringgit per month. The subsidy for car owners will be limited to 100 litres of petrol monthly, while motorcycle owners will get 40 litres monthly. Some 2 billion ringgit has been allocated for the new initiative, which is expected to benefit more than 4 million car owners and 2.6 million motorcycle owners. The Yang di-Pertuan Agong Al-Sultan Abdullah Riyatuddin Al-Mustafa Billah Shah departed today for Malaysia after having completed His Majesty's three-day state visit to Brunei Darussalam. Sultan Abdullah and the Raja Permaisuri Agong, Tunku Haja Aziza Amina Maimuna Iskandaria, were sent off at the Brunei International Airport by Brunei Crown Prince Pangeran Muda Mahkota Al-Muqtadi Billah Ibni Sultan Hassan Al-Bolkiah and his consort Pangeran Anak Isteri Pangeran Anak Sarah Pangeran Saleh Abdul Rahman and the Malaysian High Commissioner to Brunei Ismail Salam. Foreign Minister Dato' Saifuddin Abdullah and the rest of the Malaysian entourage also accompanied their majesties on their return to Malaysia. The Static Guard of the Royal Brunei Land Force was in position as a special aircraft carrying their majesties took off at about 2 p.m. Sultan Abdullah's state visit, which began on Sunday, was aimed at, amongst other things, to strengthen the relations between Brunei and Malaysia that stretch over 3 decades. Sultan Abdullah's visit to Brunei is the first state visit by His Majesty following his installation as the 16th Yang di-Pertuan Agong on the 30th of July. The visit also commemorates the historic visit of His Majesty's late father, Paduka Ayanda Sultan Ahmad Shah, as the first Yang di-Pertuan Agong to make a state visit to Brunei soon after the Sultanate gained its independence in 1984. Preacher Dr. Zakir Naik has issued an apology for the controversial remarks during a talk in Kota Baru on the 8th of August. He stated that it was never his intention to upset any individual or community and hoped Malaysians would not harbour ill feelings towards him. Meanwhile, a blanket ban has been imposed effective the 15th of August on all programs conducted by Dr. Zakir nationwide for security reasons. Deputy Women, Family and Community Development Minister Hannah Yeoh has reminded the people of various races nationwide to preserve the nation's peace, unity and harmony, which has been fostered for the past 62 years.
Untuk Hari Kebangsaan yang akan datang, saya berharap warga Malaysia kita jangan how do I say, we don't take for granted. Okay, don't take for granted unity yang kita ada sekarang ini dan kita mesti pertahankan perpaduan ini bukan untuk generasi kita saja tapi untuk masa depan anak kita. Kalau kita lihat negara-negara lain, kalau perpaduan itu tak ada, kekacauan berlaku, kanak-kanak kita yang akan menjadi mangsa lah bila negara tidak aman.
Speaking in Putrajaya today, Hannah said school is the first place where children develop moral values and respect for one another. And thus, she said various unity-based programs can be conducted by all schools indirectly. For example, by conducting the Community Education Carnival program, which involves 32 schools in Segambut and Seputeh to expose students to the racial and cultural diversity. The Road Transport Department, or RTD, has managed to collect nearly 15.6 million ringgit in revenue since the launch of its e-bidding system, or JPJ e-bid, in 5 states in April. Now, the highest collection was received from Putrajaya and the Federal Territory. RTD Vehicle Licensing Director Dato' Muhammad Rusdi Muhammad Darus said the department managed to collect around 3.1 million ringgit for the FC Plate series in Putrajaya, followed by around 1.56 million ringgit for the VDV Plate series in the Federal Territory. Recently, the JPJ e-bid in Sabah has collected a revenue of 1.1 million ringgit for the SYD vehicle registration numbers. Dato' Muhammad Rusdi said he expects the collection to increase by the end of this year as soon as the system is implemented in every state.
Saya dah susun jadual, kita dah jangkakan negeri terakhir kita laksanakan JPJ e-bid adalah Negeri Sembilan. Maknanya JPJ Negeri Sembilan akan melaksanakan tarikh jangkaan dia pada 28 hari bulan 11. Dan selepas selesainya Negeri Sembilan, maknanya selesailah ke semua negeri melaksanakan JPJ e-bid kecuali siri-siri yang melibatkan pulau. Contohnya macam Labuan, ataupun Langkawi, ataupun daerah-daerah kecil di Sabah dan Sarawak.
The implementation of the system in Johor will begin later at midnight until the 25th of August, which involves a bidding value between 300 ringgit to 20,000 ringgit. A total of 1 million ringgit is expected to be collected in Johor throughout the bidding period. The head of the Royal Malaysia Police College in Kuala Lumpur, Dato' Shafi Ismail, has been appointed as Johor Deputy Police Chief effective today, replacing Dato' Muhammad Kamaruddin Maddin, who has been promoted as the Johor Police Chief last month. Dato' Muhammad Kamaruddin said Dato' Shafi, 59, is a senior officer with high integrity and will be able to strengthen the Johor Police Force.
Dan saya harap dengan gandingan yang ada ini bersama-sama dengan saya, kita dapat terus menjadikan Johor ini terus kekal gemilang dan kita dapat melaksanakan amanah yang telah ditanggungjawabkan kepada kita.
The handing over of duties ceremony was held at the Johor Police Headquarters, witnessed by the Royal Malaysian Police Commercial Crimes Investigation Department Director, Datuk Sri Muhammad Zakaria Ahmad, today. Datuk Shafi began his career in the police force after receiving basic constable police training on the 2nd of February in 1986 at the Kuala Lumpur Police Training Centre. He served as the chief of the Johor Bahru Selatan Police Chief in 2006 before serving in Sibu, Sarawak in 2007. Coming up, 3 burned to death in a burner accident. Stay with us. That story up next. 15 passengers were in a state of panic when the double-decker express bus they were in skidded before crashing into 2 other vehicles at kilometre 220.8 of the North-South Highway or Plus, heading south near the Simpang 4 Alor Gajah Toll Plaza this morning. According to authorities, 1 passenger suffered light injuries and no fatalities were reported in the incident. Malacca Traffic Enforcement Investigation Department Head Superintendent Hassan Basri Yahya, when contacted, said the express bus was reported to have crashed into a lorry and a 4-wheel drive while it was parked at the shoulder of the road. It was believed that the 32-year-old bus driver tried to avoid from crashing into another vehicle, which made a sudden lane change. The left side of the double-decker bus was badly damaged due to the incident. Superintendent Hassan said preliminary investigations revealed that the accident took place along a straight road with a dry surface. He added that all 14 passengers who were on their way from Kuala Lumpur to Singapore were moved into another bus, while 1 passenger was taken to the Alor Gajah Hospital for treatment. The case is now being investigated under Section 43, Subsection 1 of the Road Transport Act 1987. Now, 3 people were burnt beyond recognition after the vehicle they were in caught fire following a collision with 2 lorries. The early morning incident happened near a petrol station in Pekan Mengkuang, Bera in Pahang. State Fire and Rescue Department Public Relations Officer Anwar Hassan said they received an emergency call at about 6 a.m. and deployed a fire engine along with 6 firefighters to the scene. He said the firefighters had to douse the flames using foam before using rescue tools to extricate the charred bodies from the mangled car, adding that the bodies have yet to be identified. Anwar said the bodies of the victims were sent to the Sultan Haji Ahmad Shah Hospital in Temerloh for post-mortem. The cause of the accident is still being investigated. 7 police officers and personnel with the ranks of Lance Corporal and Constable have been tested positive for drugs at an operation dubbed Blue Devil conducted in Johor between the 13th and the 17th of August this year. The operation was conducted to identify abuse of drugs amongst police officers and personnel, which involved tests on 7 senior officers and 100 personnel in the state. Now, Johor Police Chief Dato' Kamaruddin Maddin said he will not compromise on the issue and promised that stern action will be taken against any officer or personnel found involved in drug abuse.
Kita pun sebenarnya telah pun mempunyai sasaran-sasaran kita lah. Jadi mereka yang kita rasakan terjebak dalam aktiviti ini akan kita pantau, dan pada masa ke semasa kita akan buat ujian urin ke atas mereka. So kita harap dengan pemantauan yang berterusan dan secara berkala ini kita dapat memastikan di Johor ini mereka ini tidak terlibat dengan dadah.
Speaking at the handing over of duties to the Deputy Police Chief of Johor today, Datuk Kamarudin said overall, Johor Police had detained 12,706 individuals during 5,769 raids across the state from January until the 15th of August this year. They also managed to seize 2,727 kilograms of drugs worth 127.58 million ringgit. Two factory operators were detained together with drugs suspected to be heroin and shabu at Pendang in the wee hours of today. Now, Pendang District Police Chief DSP Aris Sham Hamizah said the arrest of both suspects, aged 27 and 24 respectively, were made at Batu Hampa, Pendang at 20 minutes past midnight. DSP Aris said the duo were believed to be the masterminds of a drug syndicate and had been active for the past 2 months. Upon inspection on one of the suspects, police found a black small bag containing one transparent packet of substance suspected to be shabu weighing 1.3 grams. Meanwhile, a body search carried out in the other suspect revealed no illegal items. Additionally, police found another black bag containing 4 transparent packets of white crystals suspected to be heroin, weighing 97.7 grams in the front basket of the motorcycle belonged to the suspects. Preliminary investigations found both suspects tested positive for morphine. They were detained to facilitate the investigation under Section 12, Subsection 2 of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952 and Section 39, Subsection B of the same Act. 2 friends were ordered by the Pulau Pinang High Court today to enter the defence for trafficking heroin and monoacetyl morphines in 2016. Judge Dato' Akhtar Tahir made the decision after the court found that the prosecution had succeeded in establishing a prima facie case against Zawani Zulkifli, 33, and Nur Zahira Yusof, 32. Judge Dato' Akhtar, in his judgment, said he took into account the testimonies of 2 key prosecution witnesses to prove the element of possession of the drugs and the keys and access cards to the rented apartment unit where the drugs were found. He said the friend of the apartment owner, known as SP8, had positively identified the accused as the persons who rented the apartment unit where the drugs were found. Judge Dato' Akhtar said the raiding officer, known as SP13, had also testified that the keys and access cards to the apartment unit were in the possession of the accused at all times, although only Nur Zahira had signed the rental agreement. Nur Zahira's DNA was also found on some of the items inside the apartment. He said there were 3 options available to Zawani and Nur Zahira. They included remaining silent, giving a testimony from the dock, and sworn testimony from the witness stand. Zawani and Nur Zahira both chose to provide a sworn testimony from the witness stand. Both were jointly charged with trafficking in 294.9 grams of heroin and 82.2 grams of monoacetyl morphines at the Parkview Tower in Jalan Harbour Place of Jalan Assumption at 4:45 p.m. on the 18th of December of 2016. They were charged under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act, which carries the mandatory death penalty upon conviction. The judge set 1st of October for both the accused to enter their defence. On to sports. 3 Malaysian Muay Thai athletes, Muhammad Rifdin Mazdo, Nur Amisha Azril Rizal and Muhammad Mahmood, won the gold medals at the 2019 East Asia Muay Thai Championship in Hong Kong, which ended on Sunday. Datuk Muhammad Shanas, Muay Thai Malaysia president, said he was more than satisfied with the athletes' performance during the championship. Muhammad Rifdin 2019 World Muay Thai Championship silver medalist, and Noor Amisha, 2016 Junior World Champion, each emerged champion in the men's 48 kilograms and women's 51 kilograms after beating the host representative and an athlete from Taiwan at the final action. Muhammad Mahmood completed the triumph with the third goal after beating the host's representative 4-1 in the 67 kilograms category. 2 bronze medals were contributed by Zulhelmi Rosli and Tasha Amira, who lost to boxers from Mongolia and Hong Kong respectively in the semi-final bouts. Noor Amisha and Muhammad Arifdin will next be flying to Antalya, Turkey next month to compete in the IFMA World Junior Championship before participating in the 2019 Philippines SEA Games. Defending champions Malaysia lost 1-0 to 4-time winners Australia in the final of the ASEAN Football Federation Under-18 Championship at Stadium Trong Nhat in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam yesterday. Now, midfielder Lachlan Ricky Brooks' strike in the middle of the second half was enough for the Joeys to notch their 5th title after having emerged champions in 2006, 2008, 2010 and 2016. The win is also sweet revenge for Australia, who were upset by Malaysia 3-0 in their Group B match on the 13th of August. In yesterday's match, Australia clearly dominated the first half with several dangerous attempts at goal, but the Malaysian defence stood firm as the game ended goalless at the interval. In the second half, the Malaysians changed their game plan to mount numerous attacks on their opponent's goalmouth. Brad Maloney's boys almost took the lead, but a lob by midfielder Mohammad Firdaus Khairun Nizam from outside the penalty box in the 59th minute struck the crossbar, although Australian goalkeeper Kai James Calderback Park was a beaten man. A defensive lapse by the Malaysians proved fatal when Lachlan Ricky scored in the 79th minute by stabbing in a pass from Louis Joseph Diarigo. Defender Christian Popovic almost increased Australia's lead in injury time, but his attempt from inside the penalty box hit the post and the score remained at 1-0 until the final whistle. And that item concludes this evening's edition of News on 2. In our top story, Cabinet to consider motorcycle ride-hailing service Gojek. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon for more news updates. I'm Adrian Seat. Stay tuned to TV2. Have a pleasant evening and thanks for watching.